Gavin Newsom, and very handsome Gavin Newsom, is ringing alarm bells about Trump's plan to send federal election monitors to California on Election Day. Let's watch this clip.
I really am scared to death about what's going on in this country. I really believe it is code red. It's 5 alarm fires. We won't have a country. We won't have an election that's fair and free if we don't stand up. We won't. There will not be a fair and free election. It will be a Putin election.
Oh, Gabby, you're such a cutie. I want to be a Gabby groupie. You're so handsome. My nervous stomach gets loopy. I accidentally fart and then I say, whoopee! This is your answer to the Trumpers' toxic masculinity? This is what the Yentas consider to be masculine? A dude named Gabby? A professional liar who was just busted in another lie last week when he was being interviewed by Steven Jackson and he tried to relate to black men by pretending to be from the hood. Yo, my name is Gabby. I used to be on the block slinging that yayo. My daddy wasn't a doctor and my mama wasn't a lawyer. I ain't never had shit. Congratulations is in order. Gabby Newsom was not raised in the projects. Gabby Newsom did not come from a low-income family. Matter of fact, Gabby was raised in a life of privilege. You see, Gabby comes from a long line of money. When he was starting his career in the early 90s, he launched his first company with investment money from oil tycoon Gordon Getty, who just so happened to be a family friend. You know, the vast majority of women, and I am including feminists in this, even though they will never admit it, the average feminist will continue to fight their biological needs so they can brag to their lonely friends about being an independent yenta. All my women independent, why are you so unhappy? The vast majority of women, they want a man who can protect them. The vast majority of women want a man who can provide. According to the ladies on The View, Gabby Newsom is an example of this protective provider. Let's just review some of Gabby's qualifications. As a provider, Gabby claimed that he could build a high-speed rail system in the People's Republic of California. He's been governor since 2019, and the only trains in the People's Republic are being ran on weekends at the local brothel. According to Gabby, he can also provide homes to the thousands of homeless people in the People's Republic. 6 years later, homeless people are living in tents or cardboard boxes, while people paying $8,000 a month to rent a closet-sized apartment are stepping over homeless doodle on the sidewalk just to get to work. Earlier this year, there were wildfires throughout Los Angeles. This was Gabby's opportunity to prove that he could be a protector. How did Super Gavin respond? Gabby put on his pink cape. He stood on the balcony of his mansion in San Francisco with a water gun and attempted to fight the fires that were over 400 miles away. When that obviously did not work, Gabby fought his climate guilt and got on his private jet and flew down to the coast of Los Angeles. He was standing beside the Pacific Ocean, frantically searching for water. We need water to fight these fires. Where is the water? I know what happened. Don Trump drank all of it. It's the orange man's fault that we can't find water. Gabby Newsom is about as masculine as a horny cat in heat. But according to Big Red Joy Behar, he's so dreamy. Friday morning, the Yentas on The View. They were endorsing this disgusting narrative from Gavin Newsom that the Trumper is threatening the integrity of elections in California. Now, how is Don threatening election integrity? He's sending election monitors to the People's Republic of California to ensure that elections are run fairly. But believe it or not, there was one Yenta that disputed this false rhetoric from Gavin Newsom. And as expected, it caused a little bit of a catfight and an explosion of toxic mouth farts from Uncle Casey's personal favorite, Asuncion. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Yesterday on the second channel, talked about Stephen A. Smith pushing another fake racism scandal in the NFL. When Stephen A. was called out for this obvious propaganda, he lost emotional control and couldn't explain why he was once again fabricating stories of mythical racism. I give you all the details, so click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Gavin Newsom is obviously running for president in 2028. I guess Gabby is worried that he will lose, so he's already creating excuses as to why he's going to be a huge embarrassing failure. The election will be rigged! This is a threat to democracy! Surprisingly, the anonymous blonde, I can't ever remember her name, she actually pushed back against Gabby's false narrative, which is a clear violation of her contract with this toxic dump at ABC. Son Hostin stepped in to correct her with empty phrases and meaningless platitudes. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. I should know, my name is Sun. I speak truth to power. If sunlight is the best disinfectant, then how come Son Hostin hasn't figured out a way to disinfect the garbage on The View? And what the hell does that even mean? Speak truth to power? What the hell does that mean? This is what Democrats do. They don't have a platform. They don't have substance to their arguments. So they invent these doofus catchphrases, which is essentially their way of polishing the turd. Hope and change, threat to democracy, fundamental transformation of America, build back better, a better future. Orange Man bad! We are fighting for the children! Oh, the children! It's all about the children! It doesn't mean a damn thing. And finally, one of the ladies on The View was willing to speak out against this meaningless talking points. With Friday being Halloween, I guess the great pretender Alyssa Farah Griffin decided to dress as a normal person. As you guys know, ABC pays Alyssa Farah Griffin to be the pretending Yenta. She is the pretend conservative, which means she claims to be a conservative while capturing the boodle breeze in a plastic bag so she can smell it later and agreeing with everything that the whoopee cushion says. But Friday morning, Alyssa Farah Griffin decided to play the role of a normal person for Halloween, and she disputed the lies of Gavin Newsom. As expected, once Big Red Joy Behar and Son Hostin were hit with the truth, they had a devastating allergic reaction. They started interrupting Alyssa Farah Griffin in a desperate attempt to shield the audience of lonely women from hearing the truth. But to her credit, AFG kept going. Watch for yourself.
Why is Trump sending in election monitors to California? Why is Trump sending people there?
But I think it's one thing for pundits and for spectators to say, I'm concerned that there will be free and fair elections again. I think it is wholly irresponsible for the governor of the most populous state, who, by the way, oversees elections in his own state. He oversees the cybersecurity infrastructure. He oversees the Secretary of State, down to poll watchers, to election workers. Gavin Newsom has a lot of power in this.
Why are there federal monitors, though?
He could at minimum say, I can promise you California will have a free and fair election.
How does he do that
It's
when Donald Trump is sending federal monitors
because
into
he's
his
the chief
state?
executive of the state.
Doesn't
an alarming
it sound
phrase.
like election intimidators?
But you also have a
That's what it
governor with
sounds
his
like.
own authorities in the state. And for him to say this, it reminds me very much of the gerrymandering debate. So everyone is angry when Texas redraws congressional maps to add more Republican seats.
Yeah.
They're cheating. It's rigged. So California responds by cheating and rigging
what
it
are
by
they- what
adding
are they
more
supposed to
What are they
Democratic
supposed to
seats.
do? Are they supposed to just let them do it?
No, you're supposed to safely secure your elections and tell your voters you can
No,
trust
for
voting in
gerrymandering.
California.
For gerrymandering.
Yeah, what do you do with
What are you
that?
supposed to do with that?
You should challenge it at the state level.
You can't change the laws when the Republicans are in charge in Texas.
You know, Ana Navarro, the Yenta that's married to the Pepperidge Farm guy, she came to America to get away from communism. She was born into a wealthy family in Nicaragua, which seems to be a trend with Democrats. Have you noticed that a lot of these people pushing socialism come from wealthy backgrounds? Anyway, Ana Navarro came to America to escape an oppressive government. If anyone should understand the danger, if anyone should understand why freedom should be protected in America, you would think it would be Ana Navarro. Yet, for some reason, she demonizes the Trumper. She demonizes the dude protecting freedom. She demonizes the man who puts America first. And she endorses a huge embarrassing failure like Gavin Newsom, the man who is responsible for destroying the People's Republic of California. The governor who has made life so miserable. People are fleeing mansions in the People's Republic to live in straw huts in Mexico. Ana Navarro supports Zohran Mamdani, the happy-go-lucky doofus who, to his credit, is honest about his socialist beliefs. Ana Navarro is supporting a candidate that wants to implement the same system that she ran away from. Someone please make it make sense. Why would someone who escaped communism be willing to support a communist? Well, Casey Zorro isn't a communist. He's a democratic socialist. Yeah, they do an excellent job polishing this turd. They call it progressivism, democratic socialism, state-run capitalism, equity. Once you remove the polish from the turd, it's just communism. It's Marxism. You know why Karl Marx wanted to take money from rich people? Because Karl Marx was too lazy to get a damn job. Karl Marx had 7 kids who had to rely on friends and family for support because their useless daddy wouldn't get a job and support them. Well, KC, maybe he was the victim of an oppressive system. Maybe he was born into a poor family and didn't have the privilege and opportunities to succeed. Karl Marx was born into a rich family, wealthy family. Again, are you noticing a trend here? He was born into a wealthy family, had a good education. Karl Marx was just lazy, kind of like Zohran Mamdani, who was born into a wealthy family and never had a real job in his life, but he wants to take the money that you earned. If anyone should oppose this system, it should be Ana Navarro, but she doesn't oppose it because I think she's being paid not to. I think Ana Navarro is a paid propagandist, like most of the ladies on The View. But credit to Alyssa Farah Griffin and the Anonymous Blonde for finally being willing to speak the truth. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.